you get older, you get bigger, you get fatter. We lose hair. Life doesn't get easier. It gets more difficult. And if you don't have some kind of education, good job, and you got to rely on some other man, forget about it.
Oouchie car watch, we just begun. Oouchie car watch, we're on the scene. Truths unraveling, what does it mean? In the halls.
Good morning, Ms. Perry. Ma'am, you were charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On November 30th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a J.C. Penney in regard to a theft. Upon arrival, the officer met with the complainant, the loss prevention associate, who advised that the defendant walked to the Levi's department with their personal infant stroller, grabbed several clothing items from the store display, and then walked into the elevator area to conceal the items. The complainant advised the defendant then went to the men's and kids department using the same method to conceal more stolen property. The defendant then walked out of the store into the main part of the mall, passing all points of sale. Security attempted to stop the defendant outside the store, and the defendant fled on foot back to the store where she was tackled by loss prevention. Total cost of the items was $415.
All right. Ms. Perry, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now not to go to any J.C. Penney. You understand, ma'am? If I find that you go back to J.C. Penney or you pick up any new case, I will revoke bond, put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds, man. How old are you?
17.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in school right now, so I play sports.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Idaho.
You're in high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you want to apply for a court-appointed lawyer, ma'am? Would you like one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You need a lawyer to represent you. I'm telling you now, you're 17 and you've now picked up a theft case. A theft case is probably one of the worst cases that you can pick up because you get one of those on your record, you're branded a thief, and no one hires thieves. So be careful out there. All right. I need you to fill out an application for me. So Steven's going to give you an application. I'm going to have you take your seat in the jury box after you sign your reset. I need you to fill it out for me. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions, and then we'll have you speak to a lawyer here momentarily. Okay?
And that was state conditions, correct?
Yeah, state. Yeah. So can you file no going back to J.C. Penney?
Just to clarify, all J.C. Penney's? Okay, yes, Your Honor.
No J.C. Penney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Give me a second. Let me see if we can get you out.
Ms. Perry's mom wanted to see if you could add, making sure she goes to school and no drugs on her bond
Oh.
conditions.
Where's mom?
Mom,
Come on up, mom. Miss Perry, come on up. Give me your last name again. Hey, did you file conditions on Duval?
Yes, Judge, I believe
All
so.
right, come up. We're gonna have you sign your bond conditions now. We'll have you give you a reset so you can get you on your way. Okay? Sure thing. His parking's about to expire, so let's just get him out. Right now. Okay, signed. Hi,
How are you?
thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
So tell me what's going on with Miss Perry. Is she acting up?
She doesn't act up, but around the wrong crowd. I don't want her to act up. I don't want her to hang with the wrong crowd. I don't want her to go far.
Okay.
So I just want her to make sure she's going to school and not getting in trouble.
We can make every single thing that you want a part of her bond condition so that if you start messing up, I have one place for you. We have schools in the jail and you can graduate from high school in the jail. It's your choice. You want me to send her for a drug test now to see if she's using?
No, sir. It's I already know the answer to that.
But do you know what?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you don't want me to test her because I can. I'm not gonna.
No, sir, I don't need her to get tested.
So you're not to smoke weed. You're not to use anything that has THC in it. I'm going to test you 45 days from today. And I'm telling you, if you test positive, I will put you in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't use and stay in school. I can give her a curfew if you want. I can make her stay at home, come to home 10 o'clock at night.
No, sir, I don't need a curfew or anything. I just want her to make sure she's at school. That's my only condition.
Okay, we'll make everything that you want. I can make it a bond condition. But the problem is though, is that if I do this and she's acting up out there, you have to be with me on this. So if I put her in, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if she knows that she can get away with stuff, when the cat's away, the mice will play,
Absolutely.
right? So are we together on this?
We are.
I have no problems putting you in custody. Start acting up, Ms. Perry.
Yes, sir.
The last thing that you need is a theft conviction. And the other thing that you are desperately need in this life is a high school diploma. As a young Black woman in this life, it is so very difficult. You should never, ever have to rely on a man. You need knowledge. Knowledge is power. And I'm telling you now, if you get out there in life and you don't have an education and you don't have anything to do in this life, you're never going to make money. You're always going to be dependent on someone else. And it really sucks because the divorce rate in this country is extremely high because with life, you get older, you get bigger, you get fatter, we lose hair. Life doesn't get easier. It gets more difficult. And if you don't have some kind of education, good job, and you got to rely on some other man, forget about it. Be your own woman. Be strong and have an education. Because otherwise, life's going to suck. Life sucks without money. Do you understand? No more dope, and I will test you 45 days from today. Okay, Mom. We'll make all those a bond condition. We'll see.
For today, I have Miss Perry. It's a theft. You've already found probable cause. I wanted to approach on the bond conditions.
Okay.
So she's 17. She's a junior in high school. Per the coordinator, you wish her to come back in 45 days.
Correct.
Random drug tests.
No random.
No random. No, we didn't do random. Because since we're doing the test in 45 days, there's just no need to
Okay.
do randoms.
Sorry. And then maintain a 3.0 in high school. And not to be a polite judge, but in speaking with my client and her mother, we are to a degree setting her up with failure with the 3.0. And I'll say that as a person who has a law degree
Mom.
now.
What kind of grade she make?
It's more like she's improving, she's making like.
I just want you to do great,
Yes.
Miss Perry. That's all I want. How do we get you to be great?
Here, come on. Actually, just come on up. I strongly encourage the court's cheerleader-like attitude and requiring my
How
client
do
to
we get you to be
participate.
great in school? That's your number one focus now in life should be in education and doing as best as you can, because this is a step ladder to the future. You can either go up in life or you can go down in life. And right now you were headed down into the swamp. It's not going well. You have to change. Otherwise, you're going to just keep continuing to go down. I've got thousands of people in there that can show you how bad it is. And the older you get without that education, life sucks. I'm telling you. What kind of grades do you make now? So how do you get to be better in school? You know, really, it's not hard to maintain a 3.0 or B average. It's not. All you have to do is show up, just do a little bit of studying, and you can do it. All I want you to do is study and be the best you can.
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you think?
I want her to be the best she can too. And I want her
Is a
to be-
3.0 unreasonable?
It's not unreasonable. I just don't want to, and I'm being honest, I don't want to set her up for failure. I want her to succeed in everything she does. But I do know what's going on in the school, and I don't want her to not make your requirements.
I want you to do well. I'm going to keep it because I want you to do as best as you can. And I want to use that as like a fire to light it, to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do and that you start studying in school. You should look at all the lawyers over here. It truly is amazing, some of the people that we have over here. They're so smart. They're so crafty with their arguments. Knowledge is power. When you know things, you're just better all around, you know? You only get it one way. 2.5
2.5 what?
GPA,
It's better than 3, Judge. I've got
0.5.
two issues. Should she not be able to make whatever requirements the court set and her bond would potentially be revoked, I would probably have to appeal the bond condition because
The only thing I'm going to really get upset with is if you stop going to school and if you stop going to classes, because then I'm just going to go nuts. I'm telling you now, I will go nuts. The other thing is that if you smoke weed, I don't want you to smoke weed. I don't want you to use anything in it. I'm now giving you enough time so that it clears out of your system. Because I'm telling you, if you come back here and you test positive again, it's not going to go well. And I don't care if she's kicking and she's screaming and she's crying and you're doing the same thing. If you continue to smoke, it will not go well for you. Do you understand? My only concern are two in reality.
Yes,
Number
Judge.
one, that she stays in school to get her diploma. Number two, she's not using.
understood.
And also, don't pick up a new case. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking you to be the best person you can be.
Something to what you said. The judge and I use different language. He says don't smoke. What he means is no THC, no CBD in any variety, gummies, vape. Okay.
Already, the legislature's now killing all that stuff, all the Delta 8, Delta 9, all this stuff that you see now. It's all going dodo. Okay, Mom, just if you ever need anything, I'm here for you for whatever you need, you know, here's my card. You can always get a hold of me one way or the other. You know, we'll waive the fees. So money's never an issue for anything. I don't care about the money. I care about actions. You can either make the right action or you make the wrong action. Think before you act, think before you speak. That's it. All right, guys.
Thank you, Judge.
So 2.5, Alicia, please. Good morning, Ms. Fisher. Ma'am, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On December 1st, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle at approximately 12:01 a.m. after observing it nearly rear end a parked vehicle on Almeida Road and failed to maintain a single lane by driving over a solid yellow line. Upon contact with the vehicle, the officer observed the defendant to be the driver and sole occupant and observed the defendant to have strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, slurred speech, and bloodshot eyes. The defendant admitted to drinking, and upon stepping out of the vehicle, the officer observed the defendant to be staggering while walking and to have poor balance. Center field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.249 and 0.229.
249.
Yes, Judge.
Any prior to the guys?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Fisher, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I don't know if you have a problem with alcohol. If you do, you better address it, because if you don't and it becomes a problem, I'm going to address it for you, and I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand? No alcohol from any source. Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Full coverage.
Okay, you can continue to drive, but just be careful. If you lose insurance, lose a license, you're not allowed to drive. For what it's worth, no alcohol, no illegal drugs. You have a lawyer. I will waive your appearance, so you don't have to waste your time coming to court, but stay in touch with counsel and he'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're ducking and dodging, I will issue a warrant for your arrest, okay? All right, man. I'll have you sign a receipt with Ramona. We'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions, then you're free to go. All right, thanks, guys.
Go ahead and reach out.
No, read out, yeah. Good morning, Ms. Funes. Ma'am, you were charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. Officers were dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in response to an assault. The complainant, the defendant's mother, told the officer she was driving the defendant to work when the two began to argue about the complainant's driving. The defendant then grabbed the complainant's hair and began hitting her in the head and chest, causing pain. The officers
While driving?
While driving, yes, Judge. And the officers observed a red mark on the complainant's face.
You know, if mom wants to have contact. Ms. Funes, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I typically don't allow contact when we have this kind of situation where someone has picked up an assault against another person.
Your Honor, RIP has not been performed yet.
Okay. It appears that a protective order has been issued in this case. I would get to know it because if you do something to violate the protective order, like go to the house listed in the protective order, have contact with someone listed in the protective order, the state can and will file a violation of a protective order against you. That is the capital murder of misdemeanors. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up, so you must be very careful. Until I know that she wants to have contact with you, I'm ordering you not to have contact with her. Do you understand? I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of weapons as well. Do you work, ma'am? What do you do? What kind of money do you make a month? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
No.
I'll have you fill out an application. I need you to be honest. Please don't just put zeros. I'm going to send it right back to you. I need to know everything about you, how much money you have coming in, what kind of car you drive, if you own a house, property, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, what expenses you have. Let me take a look at it and I'll see whether you qualify. Okay? Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions though. All right?
I'd like to ask for permission to go pick up my belongings. Everything I have, everything I own is in that house.
Let's do this. Let me have you fill out the application, see whether you qualify for a lawyer. If you do, we'll have you talk with a lawyer and we'll work something out. Okay? Please. We'll come back to you and we'll work something out. Please. You speak English, ma'am? Thank you. Ma'am, you were charged with 2 counts of assault. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine on each of those cases. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On November 29th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an apartment complex regarding a disturbance, an unknown weapon call for service. Upon arrival, the officers met with 2 complainants and a witness who advised that the defendant is their cousin. The first complainant advised that after the defendant called her downstairs, the defendant pulled her hair and pulled her to the ground. The defendant then assaulted the first complainant with a closed fist multiple times on the left and right side of her head, causing pain. The second complainant advised that after she saw the defendant kicking the first complainant's head, she attempted to stop the defendant. However, the second complainant was hit from behind by a second defendant with a closed fist on the left side of her face, and then proceeded to get assaulted by both the defendant and a second defendant, causing her to feel pain. The witness stated he was hit by the second defendant when he observed both complainants getting assaulted and attempted to separate the parties from fighting. The witness advised he saw the first defendant hitting both complainants with a closed fist and kicking them in the head and on the body. The defendant admitted to assaulting the complainants, and the officer observed visible swelling and markings on the complainants' faces.
Is there a co-defendant?
I couldn't see anything connected, Judge.
No, Your Honor, there's no connected cases, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
so I spoke to one of the complainants yesterday because the other one only speaks Spanish, so I can only speak to one of them. And she told me that for some reason, the police only filed charges on this defendant because she admitted to it. I believe is what happened, but also Judge, I just wanted you to be aware that there were like major injuries sustained by the witness and one of the complainants, and they were all
bad?
checked out by HFD and all were checked out by HFD and 2 were transported to Memorial Hermann Hospital Southeast for further evaluation.
I mean, serious bodily injury to where a felony can be filed?
It depends, I need to request the medical records, Judge.
Was alcohol or drugs, did that play a part?
Not from what I'm aware of, Judge. It just seems like the defendant came to their father's home, which is where the complainants were, and then demanded that one of the complainants come outside and then she started beating on her.
Is there a familial relationship? Because it's charged as just an assault. Was it a
So-
family member?
So the 2 complainants and the witness are all siblings, and they're cousins with this defendant and
Yeah.
the 2 others that were involved on the other hand.
Yeah.
So it is a family relationship, Judge. The complainant does want no contact and to distance restriction.
Okay. Ms. Moreno, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have contact with any of the complaining witnesses in this case. Do you understand? I'm ordering you not to go back to this location, and I'm ordering you not to be in possession of weapons. How old are you, ma'am? You are 17 years old. Are you a United States citizen? I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, I'm telling you now, I'm going to put you in jail. If you don't have anyone to pony up 5 to 10,000, you're going to be stuck in jail. I don't want to have to do that, but I want you to understand that I'm going to protect my public at all costs. Do you understand? You know what? I'd like to send up for a drug test right now. I'm sending you for a drug test. If you fail the test, if you fail to come back, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. You understand? I'm going to have you go take a drug test. We're going to have you come back, and then I'm going to have you talk to a lawyer here momentarily. Do you understand? Come back, because if you don't, I will issue a warrant, man. Okay, just take a seat, man. Morning, Ms. Wilson. Ma'am, you were charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On November 30th, 2024, at 9:03 p.m., the officer was traveling eastbound on Katy Freeway when the defendant's vehicle drove behind the officer's vehicle and began continuously flashing the vehicle's bright lights at the officer. The defendant then proceeded to drive around the officer's vehicle, almost striking his rear right bumper, and the defendant also failed to signal a lane change. And upon pacing the defendant's vehicle, the officer discovered the defendant was traveling 100 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. Traffic stop was initiated and the defendant was stopped in lane 1, putting both the defendant and the officer in danger due to moving traffic, which the officer then moved the scene to a parking lot.
Some kind of medical emergency or anything? Just,
No, Your Honor, no statements regarding anything.
Ms. Wilson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license?
Yes.
Can you run a
I'll run it,
license?
Your Honor.
Shh. Do you have liability insurance in your name? You have car insurance? Okay. What do you do for a living, man?
I'm sorry.
What do you do for a living?
I operations expert.
What does that mean?
I work for Anthem Blue Shield. My position is operations expert.
And how much money do you make a month?
I am on FMLA right now, so I'm not working necessarily full time due to that.
So how much money do you have coming in a month? Okay, we're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. I want you to understand that if I find that you're driving like this, I'm going to take your privilege to drive away from you. You're going to sign an order today promising us that you're not going to drive recklessly, no racing, driving in this manner. If I find that you do, I'll tell you, living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive really blows. Just don't. All we want our streets to be safe. Do you understand me? Okay. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Ramona. After that, we'll just have you take a seat. While we get your bond conditions, we'll have you sign it and then you'll be on your way, man.
Question, Judge, is, I'm not able to hire an attorney in similar position because I like.
You make quite a bit of money. You have to qualify for an appointed lawyer, be at or near the poverty line. And when you make a lot of money like you do, which is great, I can't just appoint your lawyer. We don't give them like candy because I have a limited amount. And if they can only take so many cases, and if I give you one, I might not have one for another person who really, really needs it. So we'll give you time though, and you'll have plenty of time. And remember, there's like a gajillion and one lawyers in Harris County. Negotiate with them. Say, hey, I can pay this much. 90% will put you on a payment plan, and don't take up a first blush. Renegotiate with them. They say, okay, I'll charge you this much. Okay, well, I can do this much, and then I can pay as we go. A couple $100s a month, and then they'll. But remember, it's like buying a car. Don't go to a Ferrari dealership. Don't go to Bugatti. Go to what? Okay? Okay, man, please don't leave until you sign our bond conditions. And if you can file no reckless driving, no racing,
Yes, Judge.
et cetera. Please. Okay, please.
Oouchie Court Watch, we're on the scene. Truths unravel, and what does it mean? In the halls where stories clash, Oouchie Court Watch, quick as a flash.